Sal Berry.
It's hockey cards, dude. No one's going to steal those cards because most of the people don't know who the hell they are.
And Tim Parish.
We want to find what we want, and that's hockey cards, and here they are, and you put them in jail to where we can't get to them. That bothers me. Rant over.
This is the Puck Junk Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Puck Junk Podcast. Sal Berry here along with Tim Parish, the real DFG on Twitter. And today we're going to talk about a whole bunch of collectible news stuff that went down last week. Normally our little humble hockey card hobby, not a lot going on in hockey collectibles. But last week, two big things happened. First thing was, chronologically, the first thing was Connor McDavid signing an exclusive deal with Upper Deck Authenticated for sale of memorabilia with his autograph on it. And then the next day, Topps released a digital app called Topps Skate, which is like Topps Bunt, their baseball app, or Topps Kick, their soccer app. So, two pretty big things happened in the world of hockey collectibles. Tim, what's your take on all of this? Where do you want to start? What do you want to talk about first?
Well, I think we should start with the Topps app.
Okay.
All us redheaded stepchildren hockey fans finally now have an app that we can call our own with Topps Skate.
How about
it?
So
far,
yeah,
it's pretty awesome. So it's so far from what I've seen of it, it's a pretty good app. It's, at least for me, it's not as buggy as the Topps Bunt app is. And the interface is a lot smoother. I mean, it does have its issues because it's a brand new thing. It's only been out for a week, but I'm pretty impressed with it so far. It's been fun.
Yeah, I'm liking it too. And it's funny because I actually did something for the first time today. I actually made an in-app purchase.
Ooh.
I've never done that before. I've never done an in-app purchase. Like, even I've been playing Pokemon Go probably a little bit after it came out, because I'm one of these people who are like, oh, just because everyone else is playing it doesn't mean it's great. But my girlfriend talked me into it, and then, she'd maybe spend like $5 here, $5 there, and she's like, oh, well, you could upgrade your backpack in Pokemon Go, and you can hold more Pokemon, and you could hold more items, and you could do this, and I'm just like, I don't know, because then you just spend money on power-ups. But, yesterday evening, Topps Skate released, they basically did like a sale on the coins. So I'm like, well, now's a good time to give it a try. So I ponied up a little PayPal and bought like, what did I buy here? 20,000 coins, and then another 57,500 coins, and then another 110,000 coins. So yeah, they made $16 of my money already. How about that? And they didn't even have to print anything.
Look at that. That's pretty impressive. I have yet to do that on any of these apps yet, but I've pretty much stuck to the free ones. So I'm the one freeloader that doesn't put any money into them.
Well, I mean, truth be told, I have not spent a penny on Upper Deck E-Pack. And talking about Upper Deck E-Pack and Topps Skate, that's like comparing apples and oranges because they're meant to do two very different things for those of you who have not messed around with the Topps Skate app yet. So we all know E-Pack was the idea of opening packs of cards, not having to accumulate the physical base cards, but still having the option to get the insert cards, get the Young Gun cards, get the parallel cards, and so forth. With Topps Skate, it's not so much about, there are no physical cards. It's all digital or virtual cards, but then you use them to play this fantasy hockey game. There's a couple of different fantasy hockey games every day, and you could participate them if you want to. I think I didn't the first day because I just had a lot going on. The second day I participated, and I think I placed something like 60 out of 2,000, and I actually got a pack of cards for that. And I think for the other one, I didn't place higher than top 500 or whatever, but my guys still scored over 100 points, and I got some coins in return for that. So it was kind of fun for, to play fantasy hockey without the season-long commitment or without, having to sign up for DraftKings, because I really don't want to spend, like, real money on this, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and, I've done the same thing. I put my lineup in every day. I know My wife does it much more religiously than I do because I have her hooked on the app as well. But as far as putting in the daily lineups, I do the free one. There's the daily fantasy free one, and then there's the open, which is open to anybody. Both of those are free, and they've thrown in a pony up about I think it's 5,000 coins to jump in, and the prizes are a little more, a little better, I guess, than just the free coins at the end. But no, it's really cool. I mean, the app, to me, the app is a lot more engaging than Bunt, because obviously if you were much bigger of a baseball fan, Bunt's the app to go with, just as Huddle would be for football or Kick for soccer. But being a much bigger hockey fan than baseball fan, this is something that I like, and it's fun to use. I've started getting into a bunch of trades here and trying to complete some sets towards rewards and see what pops up. So yeah, I like it.
And
I like it.
One thing that I really like about this is these cards called Topps Focus. They've only released one right now. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that, since it probably has a little more personal meaning to you than to me?
Well, the Topps Focus cards are something that I think a lot of people have been anticipating. Focus is basically centered around a digital card that has video capability built into the card itself. So when you open the card, there's an option to play. And when you play it, it plays a little video. Now, the card that they released is a Sidney Crosby card, Stanley Cup champion Sidney Crosby card. And that's exactly what they show. It shows him holding up the cup, and it's a special card, says Topps Focus on it. Press the play button, and it proceeds to show after they won the Stanley Cup, and he goes and skates over to the table and picks up the cup and skates around the ice. It shows a small video clip. Now, Panini had some video cards that they released a few years ago that I remember seeing at the National. They were kind of interesting, but, you got to bust open a million boxes and try to find these, and you never know if you're going to get one. In secondary market, they're really expensive. Here's an opportunity to get digital cards and use them on a phone, which in most cases people have, the latest and greatest iPhone or the really nice, the Samsung Galaxy phones with the high definition screens. And so they're able to actually, enjoy the video of the cards and the interactivity of them. And it's really something cool. And I'm glad that Topps finally released that. They haven't done that in any of the other apps, as far as I know. The hockey is the Skate app is the first that I know of that they've introduced that.
How about that? Just like the Glow Puck was the first augmented reality system used in professional sports, and so hockey was the first for that with on-screen real-time graphics, and now hockey is the first with a virtual trading card where it has a play button. Well, not the card itself, but underneath it you could play it. It reminds me of like when you would watch the Harry Potter movies and they'd open a newspaper and there'd be like the different photographs of like the things, and the photographs would be moving. Same idea.
Right.
This has like a 15-second video clip. I mean, we're finally at that point where, they could have probably done this a couple years ago, but now it's just really, maybe for hockey, okay, so Crosby's skating around with the cup. I mean, if you think about hockey, it's constant movement. If you think about baseball, you have a base hit, you might have a base runner, a steal, whatever. But with hockey, there's always something going on, and it would be so exciting if, the standard card became a player scoring a goal, or throwing a check, or goalie making a save, or something like that. Somebody making a nice one-timer. There's so many exciting things. Even if it's just a player moving around, it would be really cool to make that like the new standard card, and not you can always not play it and still have a freeze frame, or you could hit play and get a little bit of video. I think that would be exciting.
I just wonder how much resources that's going to take up for the app, and like how burdensome it would be. I mean, so far with the one, it plays completely flawlessly. It's so smooth. The video is so well done that there's no lag to it. There's no, pixelation. There's nothing. It's really good. I just wonder if you turn the entire app into something like that, where everything had interactivity, you might bloat the software to the point where it becomes, not, I guess, cost effective to download it. I would hate
Understandable.
to see that.
Yeah, and since you said interactivity, I want to bring up the statistics because on the back of the Topps skate cards, it shows like little bar graph that shows how the player did in each game. Now, right now, most players are going to have between 0 for Crosby and like maybe 3 for
Hey,
like
he hasn't played yet.
right. That's why he has 0. He doesn't have any little bars. I mean, whereas like some of the other guys who've played like 2 or 3 games, there'll be like 3 bars in the bar graph. You mouse over, you put your finger on one of them, and it tells you how the player did in that game. And then what's exciting is that you could see, oh, well, this guy had a good game last game and 2 games ago. And then you could kind of, I mean, it also has other ways of figuring that out, but like you could kind of predict then and say, oh, maybe he'll have a good game this game. The stats update in real time, so when the player is playing and you flip over the card, it'll say like first period, 2 face-offs, 1 giveaway, 1 shot on net, and that's cool that it's doing that in real time. And all these statistics add up and earn you points in these fantasy games that you could play. And then the other thing is that there are different levels. Well, they said there are 10 different levels of cards, from white, which is your basic. I guess maybe gold is the highest. I don't know. I got 1 teal card, Mark Edward Vlasic, coincidentally, who wears teal. And that each of the parallels have a multiplier. So like your teal card is like a multiplier of 2.5. So if he gets a goal, a defenseman gets 125 points for a goal. But if it has a multiplier of 2.5, then you multiply that goal by 2.5, and then that's how many points he would get you in your fantasy game. So like I know a couple of games ago I had a Brent Seabrook orange card. He had a good game, and so he ended up getting me like 600 points in like this fantasy hockey thing.
Yeah, and obviously the higher the better the color is going to get you the more points. And I think gold is the highest. Maybe purple. I know there's purple ones as well. There's so many colors. So many colors of the rainbow.
So, one thing that I just want to point out really quick, for those of you who didn't download the app on the first day or the second day, I think the original name of it was intended to be Ice, because the next day, so it came out on a Wednesday, and then on Thursday I opened the app and it said, you need to update Topps Ice. And I'm thinking, hey, you need to update your error messages, because I guess you couldn't get the name Topps Ice because it's too close to Upper Deck Ice. So I just thought that was kind of funny.
Sense.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of funny, what it was originally to be called. But I like the name Skate better because that implies action versus ice, that would be like calling like the football app Field. Or I guess Gridiron.
Field.
But or the baseball app, Diamond or Field, instead of like, Ice, instead Skate sounds pretty cool. I would have liked Slapshot, but I'm sure that's been taken a million years ago for something that never happened.
That's possible.
I mean, there was a company called Slapshot that made OHL trading cards in 95, 96, and I think they might have done some team sets also for junior teams, but there's never been, there's been Power Play and, Ice and probably a few other things with like hockey sounding names. What do you think? Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say there's only so many names that you can try to copyright that haven't already been copyrighted.
Yeah, tell me about it. What do you think of the Topps Now cards being put into this app?
Top Nows cards they're pretty popular, especially in the other apps that are out there. I know with baseball, people are sell them and everything on the secondary market, and then you have the Topps Now cards individually that were made that you can order. I think it's cool. I mean, they jumped right on it on the Austin Matthews bandwagon the night he had 4 goals, so they were all over that. And the next day, it was available in packs. So, if they keep up with it and make those available, I mean, obviously this is a digital only app, so it's not like the others where you can actually have the potential of getting a real card that's a Topps Now card. They won't have that, obviously, for licensing reasons, but it's cool for the app purposes.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate because I would like to have the physical version of those cards. I like this app for what it does. I I mean, honestly, like, if these cards came out in packs, like real packs, we'd probably look at them and say they look like Victory. You know, I mean, they have a Topps logo on them, but there's no, well, actually, they don't. They look better than Victory. I should take that back, because Victory always has to put Victory in the background, and I hate that because it's so distracting. So actually, these cards are really nice looking. I just think that, like, they can be not as nice looking and still be a lot of fun. I can't wait personally, and you know this is going to happen. I cannot wait until they start doing throwback parallels. You know I'm going to lose my mind when they do an 88-89 design with the push pin in the corner. I'm probably going to go spend all my PayPal balance on trying to get all of those.
And I was thinking about that too. You know, will they be able to do that?
Yeah, they own the designs.
Because, I mean, those designs.
Yeah.
You know, do they still belong to Topps?
Oh yeah. Because they used the 71-72 Topps design on some, like, baseball Topps baseball heritage baseball or some junk. They used, like, the 71-72 with the oval and the bubble letters and the bright colors. They used that a couple years ago for baseball.
Okay.
Yeah, so they own the designs. They just can't, they can't really. It's funny because Upper Deck owns the rights to make NHL trading cards, and they can't use any of the Topps designs. They actually kind of got a cease and desist for using the ones that looked like the 79-80 O-Pee-Chee set. Remember those with the blue borders, the Gretzky rookie year? Yeah, so they actually got into a little bit of legal trouble for that. So they can't actually use Topps's designs. But Topps, I mean, I'm not saying that they're gonna put, like, a Brett Hull rookie in a virtual pack, because why would you want that unless you could put Brett Hull into your lineup? But then again, this is based on real stats, so he's not doing much of anything these days. But it would be cool to have, like, different different parallels. In fact, that might even be cooler, like, if they did. I understand colors is easier, but if you had, like, the 71-72 Topps design, maybe that gives you a multiplier of 5 or something. I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud here.
Well, Topps Mike, if you're listening, which I doubt you are, but if you are, and if somebody else is listening, tell them.
Hey,
that's what we need.
Topps Mike, if you actually listen to this after I send you the link to this, thank you for listening to this, and I will tell people to follow Topps Mike at topsmike.com. He's one of the app developers for Topps Skate. He's actually been really helpful. He's answered some of my questions publicly. He's answered some of my questions in direct messages, which is really cool, because I think this is the first time, like, a person that works for a company has reached out to me first, followed me on Twitter, and I'm like, hey, this guy's really cool, thanks, as opposed to, like, me saying, hey, Panini, I'm writing an article, can I get a little bit of information on this new set? And then they, like, ignore me for, like, ever.
Yeah, he's really good with responding to people. I mean, he's on social media, so he does a lot through Twitter, and he's really good at responding to questions. Obviously, he gets inundated with them on a daily basis because everybody complains about every little thing, and he can't respond to all of them. But, a lot of the major ones, especially ones that get repeated over and over again by users, if there's issues and stuff, he forwards them up the chain to get them fixed. So from what I've seen, he does a really good job, and it's my understanding that he's pretty much the captain of this whole project for the hockey app. So
well, that is awesome. So yeah, that's awesome that we have somebody who seems to care or does care and listens and responds and wants to make this better. So yeah, we can only expect bigger and better things for this. And if we're this excited about it after a couple of days, I mean, man, where's it going to be by the end of the season? I mean, maybe there'll be a Series 2, maybe there'll be a Series 3. I mean, there's no limit to where this could go.
That's exactly right. You'll probably see that, considering it says Series 1 in the app. I'm going to anticipate there'll at least be a Series 2, probably through the season, or maybe after the trade deadline, to pick up any of the guys in the new uniforms and things like that. But I'm happy with it. I like it so far. I just, I just wish I could justify funneling real money into it for the coins.
Oh, now you're making me feel bad.
No.
You know what's funny though is that
Other things.
Upper Deck put out a set on ePack called Fusion, which was like a digital only set of cards, and I almost bought it. They were like 79 cents a pack, and I almost bought a pack, and then I just never got around to it. And I'm like, okay, so if I buy the pack, then I'm gonna have 5 images of cards that I can't really do anything with. I guess you can combine them to like green parallels and red parallels, but then you just still have just a picture of it on your phone or a picture of it on your computer. And I think it would be exciting if you could do something with them, but you can't. So it's funny because I said I'd never pay for air, but I pretty much paid for air. But at least I could play with this air, so I'm excited.
There you go.
How about Connor McDavid signing that exclusive? Well, first of all, he's been off to a pretty damn good season. And then he's named the captain of the Oilers at 19, youngest captain in NHL history. And then Upper Deck announces that they are the exclusive retailer, seller, whatever, of memorabilia signed by McDavid. What's your take on all of this?
Well, it's an interesting move, and obviously he's not a rookie any longer. So there's stuff out there that belongs to him that's been signed already, but anything from this point forward and all new merchandise and the new jerseys and I would imagine the jerseys with the captaincies on them and those types of things, if they are authentic, you got to go to Upper Deck to get them. So you're gonna see a market for this stuff, and I think people are going to try to unload what they already have in their inventories while they can, because if anybody's actually looked at the Upper Deck store to purchase any of his items, they are getting a premium right now.
Well, they're asking for a premium. We don't know if we're getting them, but I mean,
if they're actually selling them, yeah. If they're getting what the prices that they're asking for them.
And just to give a little frame of reference here, we're talking $300 for a signed acrylic puck, $400 for a 16 by 20 signed picture, $700 for a pair of signed gloves, $999, we'll just say $1,000 for a signed jersey, $1,600 for signed skates, and then like between $1,200 and $1,300 for a picture signed by him and Gretzky. So I mean, yeah, they are asking for top dollar. And other than like maybe the skates and maybe other than like the picture signed with Gretzky, all of this stuff you can already find out online for a third cheaper. I know a couple of sites like Fanatics and Sports Memorabilia, they're selling signed pucks, McDavid pucks, for around $200. They're selling a signed 8x10 anywhere from like 175 to maybe 220 for a picture of him as an Oiler at 8x10, and then maybe 300 for a 16x20, and then maybe more for a picture of him with the with his junior team. But I don't know. I mean, if I've been telling people, if you're looking to buy some Connor McDavid signed stuff, you should not buy it from Upper Deck right now, because you can find it cheaper elsewhere. But then, and that's going to be from his rookie year. But then after that, once that's all sold and then that becomes like resold, yeah, the price can only go up. I mean, if he can maintain this level of play, which shouldn't be a problem, and this level of popularity, which shouldn't be a problem, because, sorry, but I think Sid is out, and I think Connor is in as the new NHL Golden Boy.
Hey, Sidney Crosby's an old man now. He's not Sid the kid anymore.
Isn't that weird that Crosby and Ovechkin are like the veterans now, and like they're grizzled veterans of like 10 NHL seasons, and like they're not the young Sid the kid. I mean, I like Crosby, don't get me wrong, and I love to make fun of him, because I know it just makes you like wrinkle your forehead a little bit, but
I have a little more than a forehead, though.
Well,
it's more like a 5 head.
Five head, and they used to call the space above Darren Pang's head the 6 hole.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right, between his head and the crossbar because he was so
Well,
short.
the thing is, here's the thing about McDavid. Okay, he's not going to suck anytime soon.
Nope.
But let's just say he did. I mean, even last year when he went down with an injury, all people could talk about is McDavid had an injury. What a beginning of a season he had. When's he coming back? What's he going to do when he comes back? And then he comes back and he scores, like his first shift that he's out on the ice. So it's like there's no question to the fact that he brings a lot to that team. He was named captain. So he's the wave of the future when it comes to that kind of thing. So I don't think his popularity is going to wane anytime soon. But let's say hypothetically he does start to tank, or maybe he gets some massive injury that puts him on the shelf for a very long period of time, and they move on, whatever, it is what it is. He's still going to be popular this year, next year, the year after. Even if his play started to decline, it's going to take a few years for that to work through the system. So I think what Upper Deck did is they positioned themselves to be in a very good spot for future income from that deal. I mean, they may not be getting what they need for it to be worthwhile now, but down the road they definitely will, because once the secondary market dries up for the stuff that's already out there, not that it will completely, but when all the real collectors and the fans and everything snatch everything up, I'm going to buy a jersey and I'm going to mount it on the wall. Well, I'm probably not going to sell that again. So now it's gone from the market. You pick all that stuff up and it's gone. Now Upper Deck's the only place where new stuff is. They can regulate the price and make things cost as much as whatever they want them to be. So
exactly. Yeah, and I don't know. I kind of like. I don't want to say that I wish it was more affordable, because, I mean, if
memorabilia is very expensive.
It's ridiculous.
Expensive.
I mean, because the thing is that, like, the prices aren't even. Well, let me just say this: two things is that, one, the prices are ridiculous because they're basically selling them for high enough that it'd be impossible for somebody to buy and resell it. Like, if you spend $200 on a Connor McDavid signed photo and your intention is to sell it, like, quickly, you're not going to sell it. I mean, you might sell it for 10% more, but that's not really worth your time. I mean, that's kind of a big risk. But, like, it's like they jack up the price so much that. And I'm not saying that people need to go and turn around and resell it, but I mean, it's just basically like they charge you so much that, like, really it wouldn't make, you have to want it. You have to want to spend $300. I mean, this isn't like where, it might be $10 and you'd say, yeah, I'll buy a couple of them and hang on to them for a few years and see what happens. It's like you have to want to spend that much money and you want to have the thing in your collection. And if you sell it later on, it's because of financial hardship or you're thinning out your collection, not for investing purposes. That's the one thing I wanted to say. The other thing is that, and this is just a sidebar, a lot of these shows that we go to, like the Sun Times show in Chicago, well, technically Rosemont, but the promoters will charge you a lot for an autograph, but then they will also pay the athlete to sign a bunch of stuff for them and then also sell the things themselves. So they might, pay, let's say, like, just Chris Chelios, right? They might pay him, they might say, okay, $59 for a signed Chelios photo, or, $100 for a signed Chelios jersey, or whatever. Like, you bring your own item and he'll sign it for this much. But then they'll also have the athlete sign a bunch of stuff for them to sell. So not only are you paying, like, a lot of money to get something signed, but then they're also getting things signed and then putting those out on the market to kind of compete with you trying to sell your thing.
Assuming that the bulk of the customer base is a third-party seller, I think in most cases, at the shows that we go to, those third-party sellers have already pre-bought, and they may go and pick everything up at the location or have it shipped to them. But most of the people we see are those guys that, they've been standing in autograph line since they were knee-high to a grasshopper, and they're, getting everybody signed, or the guys walk around with, like, the football helmets with every member of the team that whatever they're carrying around.
Right.
these are more collector type people, but you're right. I mean, there there are those guys out there that they're just getting the stuff signed and putting it up. I mean, Baseball Card Exchange does it all the time. I mean, that's one that I can speak to because it's basically right down the street from me now that they moved over here.
Mm-hmm.
They have autograph signings all the time at their location, and it's a lot of Chicago sports type people, but they have other people come through there. And the most recent one I believe was David Ross was there, and they'll always pre-list and say, hey, if you can't make it here this day, you can pre-purchase and we'll get them to sign, however many things there are. And you always see pictures of the guys sitting in the back room, and there'll be 15 jerseys laid out on tables, and they're just going one to the next, to the next, to the next, and just signing them all. And those are getting put up for sale or getting mounted and sold for even higher. So, I mean, the market's always going to be high for memorabilia because I think the demand for that type of stuff is higher. I think the cost involved with it might be even a little higher because you're talking merchandise rather than a piece of cardboard.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, let's not forget, Upper Deck has the exclusive trading card autograph license with McDavid as well. So, don't buy Leaf cards, or you're not going to find, a Topps digital card of his signature that I'm going to guess because Upper Deck has that license as well. So, pretty much McDavid is exclusive to Upper Deck, and he's going to have the same setup as Jordan had and Gretzky has and Griffey used to have, which I think his contract's out now, and Tiger Woods and all those guys, that big names that they signed, LeBron James, have exclusives with Upper Deck. He's joined the ranks, and good for him. I'd love to see what the actual contract is, just to break it down and see on a per item basis what basically his signature would really cost based on that contract. I wish that stuff was published.
One last thing. Speaking of signed, exclusive signing deal type things, then you have a couple of weeks back, Leaf announced that they were going to do some sort of Jack Eichel signing. So Jack Eichel only signs Leaf cards. Of course, this has caused a conundrum for people who want to have their Upper Deck Young Gun card signed or their OPG Marquee Rookie signed by Eichel, but he's only signing cards for Leaf as part of his exclusive. So the workaround that someone at Leaf devised was send Leaf your card, and for $75, they will apply a sticker to it that has Eichel's autograph on it. Or for $125, he will sign on card the autograph. However, in both of these cases, Leaf puts a sticker on the back of the card so that it's still, certified by Leaf as being his autograph, blah, 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 whatever. What's your thoughts on that? That bad, huh?
I mean, here's the thing. I'm not a big fan of exclusives myself. I think exclusives, whether they're player exclusives to sign autographs or player exclusives for memorabilia or card company exclusives for producing products, I don't necessarily think exclusives for any of that are necessarily good. But I can see the side where if you're looking at long-term investment capability, where if only one company has the something, they can pretty much dictate how much of it gets into the market. You follow what I'm saying there? So, I mean, it creates of scarcity. It also lets them set the price. So in a case like this where you can only get a Leaf card signed by Jack Eichel, okay, we're going to open this up to everything, but our name is going on all. So in essence, you've not broken away from that at all, and you're still kind of stuck with a Leaf product. It's basically like them saying, well, yeah, you worked around the licensing agreement and you got him to sign something else, but guess what? It's got our copyright on it, pretty much, is really what they're saying. So everything you have, it's going to say Leaf. Leaf, 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 Leaf.
I think that's pretty smart, though.
I get it. I guess
they figured it out, yeah.
It's a cash grab for them. I mean, other companies could go and do the same thing. I don't know of any ones that do. I mean, this is probably the first that I've seen somebody do this. From a marketing standpoint, it's kind of genius.
Well, let me ask you this
when you boil down to it.
Let me ask you this. Okay, so Jack Eichel only signs Leaf cards, right? So can you name a product that Leaf makes that's hockey?
Well, they have a brand, so Heroes and Prospects.
Okay.
Between the pipes.
Let's say Heroes and Prospect, right? Okay. And what's a box of that cost, ballpark? $80.
Heroes and Prospects used to be able to get boxes of that for like $80. Now that Leaf has it, I have no idea. I haven't even looked.
All right, so let's just say this. Let's just pretend that boxes are $100. And what would be the biggest hit you could get in a box of Heroes and Prospects? An Eichel autograph. It's not going to be a McDavid autograph, right?
No, it's not going to be a McDavid autograph. It's probably going to be some type of jersey parallel, something or other with an autograph on it, or want cards with like the fight strap buttons in them and stuff like that.
Okay.
It'd be something like that.
You're killing my example here. My point is that if you wanted to get a Jack Eichel autographed card, you'd either have to buy a lot of boxes of Leaf product, hoping to get that one card, or you'd buy it on the secondary market. This way allows you to have your own card and just say, you know what, instead of me spending a couple $100 on boxes of cards and maybe pulling a signed Eichel card, I could just get the card that I want signed by Eichel and pay the $125. I think that's a great idea. I kind of wish that existed for other things too. Like, want a Sidney Crosby autograph, but don't want to buy, 12 boxes of Vopici and hope to get a case hit? Well, now here's your chance.
Yeah, and it also may inflate the price because, if people are looking to, hey, I'm going to have him sign this, and you're obviously going to look to get the money back that it costs to create the card, plus whatever your perceived value is for it from that point on. I mean, look, we're going to have this conversation next year too, because they just signed, I think over the summer, they signed Nolan Patrick to an exclusive deal too.
Oh yeah.
So, he's going to have. It's going to be the same thing all over again. So when all the hype over Nolan Patrick starts for cards and everything else, it's going to be the same thing. He signed to exclusive deal with Leaf, and it is what it is. So,
any final thoughts before we call it a show?
Stop with exclusives. That's my final thought.
Okay.
Oh, and also, if you guys have the Skate app out there. In internet land,
please follow Tim. He doesn't have any friends on Skate.
Yeah,
except me.
I have 3 friends.
Oh yeah, you, me, and Justin, and your wife.
Actually, Justin's not my friend on there. I don't know what Justin's username. I'll have to look it up.
I don't know, because we couldn't use our Bunt usernames, and that's really annoying. Because I'm Puck Junk on Bunt, which is kind of comical because it's a hockey user ID for a baseball app, but, I wanted to use the same one that I used for Star Wars.
That's okay. I have Mario Lemieux as my icon on the Bunt app, so.
Oh yeah, that's Way to stick it to the way to subversively tell Topps, hey, this is what I really want. I want hockey cards.
I think what they did is they saw my icon or my avatar or whatever you want to call it, and they thought, hey, we should probably make a hockey app, and so I'm going to take full credit for that.
Okay, well you do that. Okay, so
my username is Dogface Gremlin. If anybody wants to trade.
And my username is SJB44, so my initials and my lucky number, because I was getting tired of trying to think of a username because I really wanted Puck Junk, and it was taken by me in another app, and then I couldn't use it for this app, which is really annoying because you're like, that name's already taken. And like, yeah, I know, I took it like a year and a half ago. So Dogface Gremlin and SJB44. Follow us or connect with us or whatever you call it on Top Skate, and we'll trade some cards.
For more hockey goodness, follow us on Twitter @PuckJunk.